instant Browns classic.
Hey, whatever. Hey, that's what this game's about. Let's go!
The Cleveland Browns are America's team.
And it's all over. The Browns are winners today.
Good Tuesday evening to you all out there, and welcome in to another episode of the Barking Brown Show. I'm Jacob, Mr. Casey Kinnaman, and Nick Carnes, presented, as always, by our friends over at Homage Apparel. I'm just doing the classic. Not really the classic. I lied to you. It's the stiff arm Brownie Elf. We got some Batman action, some Joe Thomas action. So go check out our friends over at Homage Apparel. If you're new to the YouTube channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. And all of that beautifulness. And I think while we're not going to do it, we're at 330 YouTube subs as of this episode beginning. If we hit 400, I'm not going to do a giveaway, but maybe I'll do the cinnamon challenge or something. If we
baby.
400 and by the end of June, maybe. And we'll do the cinnamon challenge. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Gentlemen, I am wonderful. It's been a pretty dope day, man. Getting to watch a ton of clips. I'm clipped up.
Oh, I love it.
Shout out to Lance Reisland, Cam Justice. Like, I can't get enough.
Brett Breatham, Scott Petrick, they all do great jobs at that. Mm-hmm.
I just, in the mail yesterday, finally got my NFL Jam with Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb. I'm feeling regular season ready. I've been wanting this one for a long time. I finally pulled the trigger and did it, and I have zero regrets. So we're going to be wearing this one soon, but I had to go with Joe Thomas today. And I'll tell you what, I watched clips. I saw Deshaun throwing. We've got a very special guest tonight with a special challenge that some smart, handsome co-host made on the draft. This time, we've got some spicy. All of a sudden, it's like...
I still lost the other bet, and he's actually got to remind me what it is. I got to go on the dog chug and pay up. I don't remember what it is. He'll remind me of that.
Are you mayo coffeeing again?
No, that was last year, but it's something similar, I think. He'll tell me in just a second. I know. So without further ado, the very handsome, the very suave Mr. Andy Manchen. What's going on, dude?
Oh, it's good to be back. It's been a minute since I've Barking Browns it up. It's good to be here, guys. I'm very nervous about what I have to do tonight. I think I wrote a check that I'm not even tracking cash, if I'm being honest.
So just a reminder for what Andy's little challenge tonight, and then you can remind me what it is I'm supposed to do because I totally forgot about that. I will also give him a lot of credit that he reminded me of his challenge. So he could have got out of it because I forgot. But he was
Andy's
very,
man was the word.
What's the word? Very integrity, has great integrity. There we go. So I was asked to name three players. Was it three? Give me three names. So I gave three names. If the Browns drafted any of them, he would come on this show and over the course of our hour show, drink 10 Smirnoff Ices. And right at the yes.
What were the other two names you missed on?
I don't remember the two names I missed on.
There was Zay something. Is that right? Does that ring a bell?
Crap.
We only count our wins around here, boys. We don't even know.
I don't know. I was given three chances. I think I did Malachi Corley. I think.
Okay.
Ooh.
I don't know, but at the end, I talked about all of the smoke around Michael Hall, and it just was so loud that I had to throw it out there, even though I didn't think it was going to happen. It just felt like, and he's getting started. It just felt like it was going to happen. It ends up happening. So here he is to polish things off.
Now, Andy, I think a lot of the night in general is determined by how the first beer tastes. So I'm just wondering your thoughts. How's the first one?
If you're going to buy Smirnoff, don't go with blue raspberry. That's just a little warning out there. In fact, don't buy Smirnoff Ice at all. There's all these amazing seltzers, and that's what you should be going towards. This is pretty awful. I'm absolutely
tastes like regret.
Diabetes will be like, I'm going to have that tomorrow. I'm sorry for everyone that has diabetes or has a family member. I'm not making a joke. I'm literally going to have it tomorrow. So just
you can taste
what it is.
And for anybody who wants to see the aftermath of whatever this is, the dog chug is live at 10 p.m. tomorrow, in which
To
Andy will
see
be
if
drinking
he's-
more beer.
to see if he's still feeling the effects. 24
All right,
hours.
living.
That's one down. We got to count these down.
All
There
right.
you
hold
go.
on.
We're
All right,
fine.
guys. Mandatory minicamp started. So let's get into some conversations. We're going to talk about some mandatory minicamp, talk about Amari Cooper's situation, and then we're going to talk about the linebacker room overall as we continue down this series, guys. We just wrapped up the there's number 2 is getting started. It's red, white, and blue, I think. Is that red, white, and berry there? Because those are better. Yeah, okay. All right. Those are better than blue.
Much better. It's like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's why it's so dangerous. We just wrapped up our draft series. If you want to check it out, we did film reviews of all 6 picks. You can see that on our YouTube channel. There is a section devoted to that, a section devoted to these position reviews. We've already done running back and we've done defensive end. And then our second episode of the week are going to start being random, really weird days because we start our series on Thursday, previewing the Browns' 2024 opponents in order. So we're starting with the Cowboys. We're going to be bringing some guests on that follow those teams, cover those teams. So it's going to be really already at 2. We're 6 minutes in.
We are 6.
But yeah, so we're going to be doing that series as well. All right. So mandatory minicamp kicks off. I think the best place to start is with who wasn't there. We saw everyone there that had not been attending voluntary OTAs the last couple of weeks. Batonio didn't practice, but he was there, and Conklin was there, and Miles and David Njoku, and the defensive tackles, Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris. Dalvin Tomlinson actually spoke after practice as well. They were all there. Amari Cooper wasn't there. It's really interesting because a week ago we kind of threw around a little bit of a conversation about like, hey, the money is going out to wide receivers. You need to sign Amari Cooper right now before it continues to go up. We had that conversation. He doesn't appear today, and Stefanski confirmed it was an unexcused absence, but they have had dialogue. So I'll kick it to you guys. I'll start with you, Casey, and then we'll get some thoughts from Andy and Nick. Just you think much about this? Are you concerned about it? Or do you just think there's some T's to be crossed, some I's to be dotted, and we'll move past it?
Look, he's entering the final year of his current deal. I think he was scheduled to make like 23.8 was what he made last year as well. And this is going to be his last bite at the apple. My guy turns 30 this coming Monday. You know what I mean? I think he wants a little security. And the Browns even talked about wanting to extend Cooper. I think it was back at the Combine. So this is the natural progression. AB and Steph get their extensions. Now that you turn your focus, I think they view him as a priority. From everything, it sounds like behind the scenes, the years is what's kind of the conflict here. I'm sure he wants more security. I mean, why wouldn't he? But I think the bottom line is you need to extend your wide receiver window, extend this guy, knock this year's cap number down, extend him, push a bunch of void years on the back end, like every other single contract, and allow this wide receiver room to grow while you still have a number 1, you know, and then what happens in 2 or 3 years happens in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. What do you think,
Andy?
Yeah, that's very, very well said. He is entering 30. I think there's a little bit less concern with Amari Cooper's playing style, that he should continue being productive. If we extend him for 2-3 more seasons, I think he'll still be a weapon during those seasons. So I'm not worried about that, but I am worried about the fact that like the money that's going out is just insane right now to wide receiver positions. And I'm sure that's not helping Andrew Berry's cause at all. So I think they just need to hammer this out. It's not like Amari Cooper, if he has another 1,000-yard season, a team's going to be ready to give him, this crazy $70 million deal for 5 years. So I think there is a compromise here. They just have to find it. He's sending a message by not coming. Frankly, that's probably the right move for him at this point. So I don't like it as a fan, but I totally respect it. And I hope they figure something out because, so many guys are brimming with potential on this team at the wide receiver position, but he's the only one that you know what you got. So
I think it's fair.
Okay, so the Browns have – nobody likes the Cleveland Browns players more than the Cleveland Browns front office does. They have a reputation for taking care of and retaining their own. We saw them I get it sucks for Nick, right? But they still kept Nick at a reduced rate more than he could have gotten anywhere else to have Chubb on the roster. And I'm couple that with the fact that Jimmy Haslam spends more money than anybody else. I'm confident, and Andy's the machine. I'm confident that this will get done.
Casey's up to something.
No, I'm keeping tally.
Yeah,
I am.
I think you're up to something.
No,
There's
keeping tally.
There's no doubt in my mind that this happens. I think it's a matter of when, not if. And I think a bonus to this, like if Amari was coming off of an injured season, or if Amari had been less productive, maybe shown a little signs of age, then this might be a little more difficult. But you're talking about a guy who two seasons ago set his career high in touchdown receptions. Last year set his career high in receiving yards and broke Josh Gordon's record, and was really the only wide receiver that was just constantly reliable, consistently productive, regardless of quarterback. So I think the Browns know how valuable Amari Cooper is. Amari Cooper knows how valuable Amari Cooper is. And I think for him, he's got to be looking at all these wide receiver contracts and be like, I deserve my piece here. And I don't blame him one bit. So I'm confident that they'll probably, like Casey, like you said, they'll probably slap a bunch of void years on it to make the money work. But they're going to pay him.
I want to piggyback off what Nick just said, though, too. It's the efficiency, because at age 29, he caught 72 balls for 1,250 yards at 17.4 yards per reception. That's a career high.
Really?
I mean, it is what it is. Since he got here in 2022, he's been the most productive receiver in this division.
He set career highs in different categories in back-to-back years in Cleveland at 28, at 29.
And think about who is throwing to him for the majority of those games.
Right.
Max.
You got Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson, that was a fraction of himself in 2022 and for most of 2023. PJ Walker completed less than 50% of his passes. You thought I was done hitting zingers at him, but I had one more in the fucking chamber. And, Dorian Thompson-Robinson was still figuring things out. So MC says that Andy is out of control. Save him. 4 down, brother.
My strategy is to get rid of these blue raspberries.
Okay, all right.
While I'm still fresh, because it's going to get hard very soon.
Yeah.
And these taste awful.
I want to ask you guys this, because I was talking to people on Twitter today about this. Is the Amari Cooper trade the best trade the Browns have made since they returned in 1999?
Yeah. I don't.
Wyatt Teller for a fifth.
Wyatt
has
Teller
got to be up there.
That's a good one too.
I was trying to think of anything else that was worth a damn, and I forgot. I don't know why I forgot about Wyatt Teller.
Buddy Boy snagged him from Buffalo for a bag of balls, and he's made all pro. So it's
true.
It's got to be up. It's got to be at least consideration.
Because it was straight up, wasn't it? Wasn't it just because in Amari's case it was but in Amari's case it wasn't a 5, it was a trade back. It was a 5 for a 6 swap to get Amari. So I think yeah, but man, you're right. Wyatt Teller's really freaking good. Like he's really freaking.
Didn't we
If
trade
it's not
Doug,
number 1, it's 1B to Wyatt Teller.
Didn't we trade Doug Peterson though for like a 3rd round pick a million years ago?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I think we did.
It'd be a fleece.
That would be a fleece.
A 7th round for Dustin Hopkins has got to be on the board now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I've got 2 others.
All right.
Take
it.
You acquired the pick that you ultimately used on Nick Chubb for absorbing Brock Osweiler's contract,
That's a good
which the only basketball trade I've ever seen in the NFL. And you sold a false bag of goods to Indianapolis and Trent Richardson for a 1st round pick.
That's you turned into Johnny Manziel. I don't know if we make out on that one.
But the value was good.
But Drew
value,
typed, as Nick was saying it, Drew hit enter on the exact same thing, and that's insane.
We once traded Punter to Carolina for like a 4th round pick. That
Yeah,
was
Andy Lee.
We sure did.
That's a good one too.
Oh my God, they have better trades since '99 than I thought. I just hadn't, laid it all out like that.
A lot more in recent history. Love this new regime, man. Okay, interesting.
Okay, all right.
I want to point out something before we get off the Cooper situation.
Yeah,
because it's being labeled as a holdout, but this feels like a soft negotiation tactic, and it might even be amicable. We'll find out because he is eligible to be fined.
Right.
If they don't find him, it might just be an understanding that they probably don't want him in camp pulling a groin while this negotiation's going on type thing.
I will say when it comes to that aspect of it, I asked the question because you always ask this question, right? Like, are you concerned about it? Like, are you upset with it? Anything like that? I'm not. I don't care if Amari Cooper's practicing in June. When it comes to that, I don't. I don't care.
I was way more puzzled about not seeing Judy. He didn't even come out.
They said it was a minor injury.
But there's other guys with minor injuries on Aerodyne bikes. Nick Chubb's out in the practice field walking around. Judy stayed in the locker room.
But is that weird. Like it needed a little rehab, maybe like more attention? I don't know.
Stem.
Yeah, some kind of treatment. Could it be something that it happened when he got there? Like it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like something that kind of flared up when he got there, and that's why he wasn't out there. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Just a new guy on the team wanting to ingratiate yourself to your teammates. You think you just want to be out there. With the other guys, there's several guys that weren't practicing. You could have been right around there with.
Sure.
That was just more puzzling to me. The Amari stuff, it's easy to wrap my head around.
Maybe he drank 10 Smirnoff Ices yesterday, and he just was too hungover to be.
You'd have to retire, son.
Hey, I have zero doubt about your availability for Dog Chug tomorrow. I don't care how many Smirnoff Ices you drink.
I have some doubt about his availability.
To be fair, Nick, practice is a lot earlier than the Dog Chug goes off at 10 o'clock. So,
that's fair.
If practice is at like 1 o'clock, I wouldn't be able to go out there.
It was at 11.
11. Yeah, there you go. So,
okay. All right, fair.
he's like, there you go. I wouldn't be out there for that.
If practice was at 10, I bet he'd be out there after those 10 Smirnoffs. 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I would think so.
Oh.
So moving on to Deshaun Watson. Watson threw. This is not like a super big deal, but I wrote this up for the Browns. Is that 5?
We're 17 minutes in, and Andy is half done.
And my final of the blue raspberries. Thank God.
He's like,
for you.
He's like eyeballing those blue raspberries. Get these motherfuckers out. This is the most unhinged episode we've done in a while, and I'm loving it.
Andy brings the party with him, and I love it.
Hey, it's June. We got to have some fun, right?
Yes, we do.
Hell yeah.
So I wrote this up for Browns Wire, where I kind of said it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. Watson took a step forward in the rehab process. And Casey and I have talked about it. Nick and I have we've all talked about this, especially on the show, where it's like, I wasn't super concerned when he was only throwing every other day and we weren't seeing it at the beginning of OTAs and things like that. But he had not been working in the 7-on-7 drills. He was just doing the individual drills against air and things like that. Now, he did not do 11-on-11 team drills, which aren't really – he did, but he wasn't throwing. He was just taking the mental reps again, but he did participate in 7-on-7 drills for the first time. Only a handful of plays, but there were a few passes where he had to put a little bit more mustard on it than we have seen. He threw a backside dig over the middle where I saw him really drive on the ball. That's not a throw we've seen him make this offseason since the surgery. So even though there was only like 2 or 3 clips where he was really doing more than we had seen last week, it was more. It was like, hey, they keep telling us that he's getting better every day. We're taking one day at a time. That was kind of evidence that that's factual. And we're going to get a little bit more because we have 2 more mandatory practices. The media is going to be, I think the media is present for both of them. I'm not 100%, but I do think they are. So they'll potentially get their eyes on him for the second time in a week where they haven't done that before. They've only been there for one throwing session. So if they get that, that's significant too. But him taking another step forward, I feel a little bit more at ease that he'll be out there week 1.
For me, week 1 has never been in doubt. The thing is, the only thing we need to see now is because he's doing still doing the day on, day off. So as long as Thursday goes off as scheduled, I think you're on the timeline of progression. They're not going to ramp him up. He won't get 11-on-11s until you get to camp. So it's good to see him out there. Good to see him getting repetition with some guys. And for me, it's just good to see like the alignments they're using, the spacing they're using. I'm getting more out of that than I am what Deshaun's actually doing. His footwork's look good. I can say that. and he doesn't look like he's labored when he's throwing the ball. But as far as the velocity and stuff, it's really hard to tell from the clips. I was actually talking to Lance Reisland earlier. He said he's not really pushing it yet. But Jameis is. Jameis is around.
How about that throw to Ford today? That was sexy. Love that.
Yeah, it was. On both parts.
Andy, what do you think about Jameis Winston? I haven't gotten your Jameis Winston.
Yeah, so like I loved that. That was one of my favorite free agency acquisitions just because I didn't know a lot about him, to be honest. You heard the nonsense, the stories, and he had a couple good years and then whatever. But when he came in, it just to see him, the way he can command a room, his production, it just seems like the perfect guy for this team. And I really think, I hope he can be a long-term piece here, because I just think like the players are going to love him. Deshaun and him are going to get along. I think it's a great fit. And if he has to come in for, 2 or 3 games, I think we have a chance to win all 3 of those games. So I love it. One of the best backups in the league on paper, obviously. We got to see it, but very excited.
I wanted to highlight Drew's comment just because he can't express how much he loves. He does love Ricci. He does love him. He is talking about getting that 44 jersey. And I'm finding a way for him to make. I am doing a 53-man roster prediction for Browns Wire. I think tomorrow. I think I'm writing it up tomorrow. That's one I'm struggling with. Like, I'm trying to find room for him.
Fullback.
Because,
I struggle with calling it Vardell's number when it was. I mean, are we really give 44 to touchdown Tommy, and not Leroy Kelly? We really doing that?
What about Lee Subs?
Never mind. I stand corrected. Forget Hall of Fame Leroy Kelly, the best mutter of all time.
Or Sione Taki, maybe?
That's true. And 44 looks really good on Sione Taki.
It did look good on Taki. Ah, damn it. I've been watching most of this game since we started, and I realized I'm on the Reds, Bali. It's not really different when you have the audio turned off, though. It's pretty much the same thing.
Just a couple thoughts. So one on Jameis Winston, I just think he's such a good fit for what the Browns need. Like, and I'll connect this to my next point. He is such good energy and vibes there. And I know you can't measure that. I get that. But, like, compare that to if, like, Joe Flacco was your backup right now. I understand why Jameis Winston is here and Joe Flacco isn't. Jameis is an uplifter, an encourager. He's embraced his role. Whereas, like, Joe Flacco would want to play. And I wouldn't blame him for wanting to play. But Jameis just in the structure.
Jameis has been that backup for a while now.
Right. And I personally, I think that Jameis could have I have no idea why the Saints were trotting out the ghost of Derek Carr over Jameis. I really don't. But I think he could have seized that opportunity if he did not tear his ACL in New Orleans that year, because he was pretty good in a really small sample for them. And I never understood why they let Derek Carr just like throw these little ducks when you've got Chris Olave and Raheed Shaheed on the team. I just don't get that. But sorry, final piece
You're
here.
okay. You're okay.
Just listening. So obviously I watched Deshaun's clips, but you guys have said just about everything that you could want to say about that. I listened to Deshaun be interviewed today. His demeanor, his mood, his responses are so much better than they were last year. And that's for a lot of obvious reasons. I get that. But it's like, for the Browns to be good on the field, for him to be successful mentally, he needs to be in that better place. And I think just listening to him talk, he handles the questions so much better. He's got a little humor to him. He's got some energy in the press. He's not on the defensive like he was last year when he would be interviewed and asked questions. And I think you can see that. I just feel like he's in a better place personally. That's just from listening to him. And I think that that certainly could help him be a lot more successful this year.
The Jameis effect.
Yeah. I've got one Jameis thing that I want to say.
Okay.
He goes to New Orleans and looked like there were legitimate. I know it was for a very short period of time, but there were MVP talks like, hey, if Jameis keeps playing like this, he could push for an MVP, a Pro Bowl, that sort of thing. I think it was only like 5 games or something of that nature. But over that first month and some change, people were like, hey, there's nobody. He had like 10 touchdowns and 1 pick or something stupid.
He's really good. It
was a really good number. And then he gets hurt. And there have been things that have been said. Is it because he can finally see and he got LASIK eye surgery? Because people are talking about it, that this dude couldn't see shit when he was in Tampa, gets LASIK, almost goes and wins an MVP, then gets hurt. It derails it. Like is that a thing?
I need one other reason besides the fact that you paid Derek Carr that you would let him throw the like if you say, okay, I've got Derek Carr and I've got Jameis Winston, who can maximize 2 receivers that can get deep and beat their man?
Oh, it's a dude that has a rocket for a right arm.
It's not Derek Carr. I don't get it. I have no idea. Good. Their loss is our gain.
MC's checking in, Andy. He wants
This is what number?
I think that's
7.
That's 7.
This is 7. 3 more. 2 more left. And one thing I want to add, if you look at Winston's career, he really played for some really bad front offices. He never had like anyone that was getting extended. They were always getting fired. The teams he was with. I think like for him, he's got to love being a part of the Cleveland Browns, because I think I do buy into the fact that we're a very stable organization at this point, and we value what he's bringing in. And I think he values that, we're not going to make dumb decisions to play Derek Carr for some stupid reason when they might have a better option. I don't know. I think it's
fair.
Is it weird to you to be so stable, Andy, to have like true longevity?
Are you talking to what?
Sorry, as far as the Browns organization goes, right? Like,
yes, because I always feel like, okay, these are the guys that are going to get it done. I have so much faith, and then they always let me down. Is it surprising? I mean, I got to say, I was so confident when it was Kevin Stefanski over the other guys they were talking to, and then Andrew Perry came back, like, who I was just mortified when he left. So it was like my dream team. These two are going to do it. But even with that, I've been sold on so many assholes before. So to see them just continue, to execute, and I mean, fine, we haven't really done anything, but we are, I think it's fair to say this is a stable organization. We've kept the majority of the talent that we've created, and this team just seems to get better and better. So excited for what we're going to do. Ken Dorsey, let's go.
So we've got 2 semi-football related, not football related things. And then we're going to get into the linebacker room, the meat and potatoes of this episode. But I'm pissed off. You're pissed off. How in the fuck are you going to ban Joey Chestnut for the thing he made famous? I don't give a shit what you say about what Nathan's hot dog eating contest was before him, anything else. How are you going to go out there and be like, oh, he wants to be sponsored by a vegan dog, get him out? What? Because Kobayashi retired, so like, who else is going to compete now that they banned Joey Chestnut? Do I watch Joey Chestnut eat? Yes, I do. Is there any chance I'll watch it ever again without Joey Chestnut? Absolutely not. Because for one, nobody's going to do what Joey Chestnut did. And for 2, I think they're a bunch of dumbasses.
It's completely un-American what happened today. But the most American thing that's going to happen is they're going to cave from backlash. Corporate America. There's going to be all this backlash. They'll cave. He's eating dogs on the 4th. Ain't no way around it.
So wait, I'm not totally familiar with the story. He made a deal with?
Okay.
Yeah.
Impossible Foods.
So Joey Chestnut, it was previously sponsored by Nathan's, right? Which does the hot dog contest. clearly Impossible came and threw more money at him. So he accepts the Impossible. So, he's going to be wearing the Impossible stuff, right?
Impossible hot dog.
Yeah. He's going to be representing them instead of Nathan's. And Nathan said, fuck you, you're out.
And they said, like Joey Chestnut released a statement that said it was something to do that he didn't do what they said he did. Let me bring it up because he said this. I thought it was let me see.
A competitive eater released a statement. Like
He's big time.
Peak America right here. Competitive eating.
A wise man up there diagonal. Wow, I pointed the wrong way. Diagonally from me. Likes to use the phrase, know where your bread's buttered. Your bread is buttered by Joey Chestnut. Man, what are y'all doing? I saw McNeil tweeted today that capitalism keeping Joey Chestnut out of the hot dog eating contest is the most American thing ever, and that's about the perfect way to say it.
Here it is. So he releases this statement on Twitter, and it says, I was gutted to learn from the media, so they didn't have the balls to tell him,
bitches, that
after 19 years, I'm banned from Nathan's July 4th hot dog eating contest. I love competing in the event. I love celebrating America with my fans all over this great country on the 4th, and I have been training to defend my title. To set the record straight, I do not have a contract with Major League Eating or Nathan's, so he doesn't have a contract with them. He didn't violate his contract. And they are looking to change the rules from past years as it relates to other partners I can work with. This is apparently the basis of which I'm being banned, and it doesn't impact the July 4th event. Sadly, this is the decision Nathan's and Major League Eating are making, and it will deprive the great fans of the holidays' usual joy and entertainment. To my fans, I love you and appreciate you. Rest assured, you'll see me eat again still.
What a humble champion. He used the word competing. He doesn't compete in that event. He dominates that event.
He's
the fucking Globetrotters, and they're the generals getting their pants pulled down as he eats 48 dogs in 2 minutes.
So
what's his record? What was his record?
No, I made that up. I don't know. He can't step to Andy on Smirnoff, though. I know that.
They cannot.
So, listen, first of all, the amount of money that the Nathan's competitive eating contest generates is it's not a lot of money. Let's just be honest. People tune in for 10 minutes and watch this dumb thing, and and then that's it for the year. But it gets Nathan's hot dogs out there. So this guy, if he's going to go out there and say, I'm going to promote, look, we're, I hate to say this, but we're going to go meatless like over the next 20 to 30 years, just because it's going to be cheaper to make it. And there's a whole host of reasons I believe in this. I will say though, I've tried the Impossible hot dogs. They're not there yet. They go have a real hot dog. Impossible burgers are pretty close, and I can get down with that, but hot dogs, no way. They threw a lot of money at him to threaten Nathan Hot Dog's whole business. So if they're going to him out for that, you guys are right. Like, no one's going to tune in, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't really do anything for them anyway. This is a stupid thing. Ultimately, what do I think is going to happen? I think it's going to be a sad ending, and they're going to go through with the contest without him, and no one's going to watch. And maybe Browns super fan Suriat will take that stage. I hope he does.
What's more exciting for the casual viewer, Nathan's hot dog eating contest or the Kentucky Derby? For the casual viewer who only watches once a year, and they watch the event and then they move on with life.
I've never watched the Kentucky Derby.
Never? Wow. What?
I don't.
Never.
I don't. Maybe when I was 5. I don't know, but I don't.
Get a mint julep and put on your fancy clothes, and it's the Kentucky Derby, baby.
Nick, you've been to my house. You hear how I talk. My drive-through next to my house sells dog food. Do you think I get fancy?
Well, okay, maybe not fancy, but like Kentucky Derby screams your area of the nation, my friend.
I watched two grown men fight at a demolition derby last Saturday. We're not the same. Those things are not the same. Not the same.
I was in Louisville for the buildup of the Kentucky Derby. I wasn't actually there.
And they weren't people competing in the derby either. They were fans.
It is like the Kentucky Derby is the lifeblood of Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Just awesome. I encourage you. Louisville is a nice little gem because it's cheap. You can go there. You can stay there for reasonable prices. You don't have to pay an arm and a leg. If you ever want to like really just experience pomp and circumstance, go to Louisville for the Kentucky Derby. I'm just saying. You don't even have to go to the event itself. Just walk around the city. It's amazing.
Okay. Andy made national news this
Andy, our own Andy.
And if you have missed it, I don't know if you're under a rock, but our own Andy Manchen is the owner of the Brown Cybertruck that has been making, what is that, 9? 8?
This is 8.
All right. We got 2 more. So it's been making the rounds on the
everywhere. Anything.
Everywhere. So I ask you, when did you have the idea? And kind of like, did you have to pay somebody? Like, was it a body shop? Who did it? Like, did they have to go to a body shop or, all that good stuff?
So I've had the Cybertruck in order since for about 4 years now.
Wow.
And one of the things you'll learn about Elon and Tesla is they always overestimate when things are going to come out, and you're always waiting a little bit longer, it is what it is. So yeah, 4 years. It was a long 4 years. It was a tough 4 years. But eventually my number came, and I would say maybe a year before I got the car, I had the idea I've got to get it wrapped in brown and orange. That would be amazing, right?
Proud of you.
And because the thing about the car is they're all stainless steel. Every one of them is going to look identical to the others. And I think they said there's like 2.2 million pre-orders. I don't know if that means half of them will get the car, which means there'll be like 1.1 million of them on the road. But there's going to be a lot of them out there. I don't know if you've noticed, there's a lot of Model 3s, Model Ys. I see them all the time. So yeah, I had to make mine unique. So I said brown and orange. And the nice thing is you can get it wrapped. It's actually just like some kind of film that goes over the stainless steel. And it's not, it's relatively inexpensive. It lasts for a couple of years. And there you go.
It's not a permanent wrap?
It's permanent, but like it'll eventually start wearing off and it'll start looking, you'll see imperfections. So like if you're nutty about cars, you might want to redo it every 3 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you told us originally there was a different design that you wanted to show everybody for it.
So I worked with a place called Wrap Ohio. They wrap cars. Everyone, if you're interested in making your car look like anything you want, it could be any color, anything. They're amazing. They're kind of newer on the scene, so they're trying to grow, a little less expensive. They do great work. I asked the owner to render me something up. I said I want it to be the most obnoxious vehicle in the lot. That's what I told him. So this was his initial design.
Oh wow!
Oh yes.
And I was going to go 19 for my man Bernie.
Love that.
For the number. And I was all
dark
excited. And like initially, I just kind of wanted to go more simple. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm driving the most obnoxious car in the universe. Why would I want to go understated? Let's go for it.
Sure.
I told him, let's do it. But then I realized it looks way too Dukes of Hazzard-ish.
So I saw someone comment on the picture saying it looked very similar to the General Lee.
So when I dropped it off, I said, you know what? Let's 86 the dog logo and the numbers, and let's just go with the orange and the lines. And that's what we settled on, and picked it up a couple days later, which was about a week ago. Yeah, and it was funny because like the car was very very noteworthy before. There was you can't even imagine pictures. The one time a lady got out of her car at a 4-way stop and just walked up to mine and was like, "What is this?" And I'm like, it's a Cybertruck. Like, oh my gosh, who makes it? Tesla. Oh, it's electric. And I'm like, ma'am, there are people waiting.
Like you're holding up traffic.
And she goes like this, like I'm the asshole. Goes back to her car so we can continue on our journey. Whatever. I was driving to Medina, one of the first trips I took with the car to my buddy's house, and I heard a honk and I look over, and suddenly I'm being flashed. I've never been flashed before, outside of like New Orleans, so that was cool. Yeah, it gets a lot of attention. But when you put the wrap on, put the brown and orange wrap on, you actually get like probably twice the attention.
Okay, so you get the Browns truck, right? You're like, I am super fan Andy Manchen, and I get the Browns truck, and you have put on quite the show with your tweets, with your chugs, with your content, and not hide nor hair of Browns Cybertruck Andy. Okay, and then on top of that, then it goes viral, right? Because somebody finds it, and everyone's like, "Oh my god." You could paint Browns on a turd and people would like it. But so I'm just trying to understand, like, why are we like, and you did do a video eventually, but why, where was I want to know if Andy Manchen owns a Brown Cybertruck. That is need to know information for me. I want to know. Why did we not know?
Sorry. Woo. drink 9 Smirnoffs and you're suddenly having trouble. Yeah, like I wanted to wait till I got it wrapped until I did like the unveiling. So I didn't really tell many people, and got it wrapped about a week ago. And here's the problem: I wanted to do that video the first day I got it back, but to do a video, right? I have 2 kids, so both kids have to be attended. My wife works during the day.
Sure.
I'm watching the kids. So it's kind of hard to find 10 minutes to go outside. There wasn't an opportunity.
Okay.
So
Just
took about a week.
Side note, we see you, Connie. We see you. Glad you're here.
Yes. And I lost a lot of engagement power because somebody else, took a picture of it and posted it and got out there. Good for them. Whatever.
So,
All right.
One last question though.
Yep.
Will the Brown Cybertruck be in the Muni lot? Because as we know, for those who don't know, Andy's a season ticket holder. Will and Andy is not for the faint of heart. If you don't want to go to the Muni lot at 4 a.m., Andy is not for you, right? So will we find the Brown Cybertruck in the Muni lot?
I said in the video, I'll see you in the Muni lot. That's the game plan.
Okay.
We'll be there week 1. I'll be at the Ross the Sock Boss tailgate.
Love Ross.
Come say hi.
Yeah, he will get you up at 4 a.m. despite not letting you go to bed till nearly 1 a.m.
Well,
You will be right back up. I promise you that. It's impressive stamina. It's impressive.
one time, sorry, I know this is just real briefly. One time, I made the mistake of going to a concert the night before I committed to tailgating with Andy. So Andy drives all the way over to the west side, bless his heart, to pick me up. I am just about how Andy's going to feel after 10 Smirnoffs after said concert. I slept for maybe like 3 hours beforehand. And we're getting on the freeway to go to Cleveland. And Andy's like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "For what?" And the next thing I know, he just floors it. And for those who don't know, Teslas can really get up and go. I will never forget that. I was not prepared whatsoever.
Can I just share like a really quick funny story? Like,
go for it.
I had just bought that Tesla, my first Tesla, and that one took off like a banshee. It was amazing, and I hadn't owned it for more than like 2 or 3 days. My buddy who I was with, we were going somewhere to an establishment, and I hadn't opened up for him, but I decided I was going to. So I actually asked him. I was like, "Hey, can you get a Gatorade from the back?" So he's like climbing back there. I can't find it. And I'm like, I think it might be like under the seat. Just keep looking. So he's like way down there. And then I just gunned it. And, I thought it would be funny. It was literally like watching a fly just swat against the like his whole body just completely flew back and just smashed against the back of the car. Horribly. It sounded awful. I think he broke bones. He still has never forgiven me. Sorry, Cody.
So we're going to wrap this thing up. Talk about some linebackers, right? Let's talk about the linebacker room, kind of wrap this conversation up. Another episode coming out later in the week. We'll preview the Dallas Cowboys as we turn our sights towards the 2024 room. So I'll pass it over to you, Casey. We'll go around the horn real quick. Just how do you feel? How do you feel about the linebacker room? I know Jeremiah JOK is at the top, and there's a lot of people that are really down on the room after him.
Well, look, the room begins and ends with JOK, but I think you got to feel better this year than you did last year, just because I believe Hicks is an upgrade over, So like, I think you've transitioned, you've gotten a little more athletic at your mic. You got someone who's, I don't know if his leadership characteristics throughout the locker room are better, but on the field, they're equal. So you got Jordan Hicks, you drafted Nathaniel Watson, Bookie Watson. We don't know what that is. Just hearing Andrew Berry talk, you have an idea that you could have your Sam of the present and a possible Mike down the line. I'm going to slow off on what he is down the line and just hope that he can be a Sam this year. And then you also got Fields, who's stuck around. He's been a special teams guy, highly athletic, ex-college safety, gives you some coverage stuff. We saw him actually give up a deep pass to Ford today from Jameis. That was Fields on the coverage on that one. But then you also got Mahmoud Diabate, and that's a mystery. It's like it's the mystery box. It could even be a boat. You don't know what Diabate is going to be. So I just think that, is it great? No, but I feel better than where it was last year. And with JOK, another year of experience heading towards that all-pro ceiling, I think you feel good about it.
Last one.
Wow. Last one.
9 down. 9 down, 1 to go. Andy, what do you think about the linebacker room?
The word I'm going to use is serviceable, and they're very they're all going to come in and do their little role. No one's going to be that great outside of JOK, but they're going to get the job done. So, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine considering the talent you have elsewhere.
And I think that's the point. When everyone else is doing their job, linebackers probably matter a little bit less, that we can just kind of get by. And I think that's the strategy. And look, if it's I don't know, 3rd and 11, right? Your linebackers can completely do a different role than when it's 1st and 10. So they're just going to sub guys in to get the job done that they need. And I think it's a perfectly fine strategy. And
we got it.
I don't mind it.
I'm very high on the possibility of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah making a Pro Bowl this year. I think about the 20 tackles for loss he had last year. That's an absurd number. And I think if he runs it back with his performance, he will finally start to get that respect for the level of play he's put out there. So I love that. I think he's the centerpiece of your linebacker room. His health is essential to that position group being effective this year. The Browns found very serviceable play, bringing in a veteran, going the veteran route with Anthony Walker on a short-term deal. I think they can do the same thing with Jordan Hicks, who was also productive last year. I was looking through the OTA photos today, and I saw Devin Bush today because I saw the number and I was like, I don't know who that is, and then sure enough, it's Devin Bush. And to me, he's the wild card because when you had Sione Takitaki, I felt like he gave you solid play. And I'm not saying Devin Bush and Takitaki play the same role, but I'm saying you had a third linebacker that you could say, this guy is going to give us solid, reliable play. And I'm not sure with Diabate and Fields, I'm not positive. Maybe one of those guys can step up. But I think Devin Bush is the wild card, like Mo Hurst was, like Shelby Harris kind of was, where you bring in this guy that maybe hasn't had the most success in Shelby did. So let's use Mo Hurst. You bring in a guy, Mo Hurst, who's dealt with injuries before, who had shown to be productive previous to injury, and then had struggled afterwards. Now, obviously, I know Mo Hurst got hurt last year, but when he was playing, that was a home run of a signing, right? A guy that really showed out for you. Like, can Devin Bush follow that path? Because if he can, all of a sudden your linebacker room's a home run, to me at least. I just think Jeremiah is so good. You just need one other guy. And if you get two, you've got a great linebacker room. That's about all you could ask for. So I love the upside signings from Andrew Berry. And I'm really excited to see what this shapes up to be.
I think that people undersell Jordan Hicks. I mean, 5 straight 100 tackle seasons. 5, not one good year, not a good year 3 years ago. Jordan Hicks has been that guy for 5 years in a row in terms of tackle machine. You need a tackle machine on your team. And if you've got a guy like Jordan Hicks cleaning up behind JOK, which is the role I think he will do a lot of, I think you should feel pretty good about that. Now, that's a lot of dependency on people staying healthy.
Right.
And that's a lot of dependency on 2 guys. So I understand that aspect of it. But a lot of people are trying to drum up this buzz about Devin Bush. You're not going to convince me until I see it. But he was a top 10 pick. This is a reclamation project. This is exactly what Mo Hurst was.
Oh, yeah.
With the exception of Devin Bush doesn't have the injury history that Mo Hurst has in terms of like Mo really hadn't played in a couple of years. But you're talking about a guy like, go look at Mo Hurst's rookie year. Go look at Devin Bush's rookie year. Like, they both were fantastic rookies and they have fantastic ceilings. Devin Bush gets to come in and be the 3rd linebacker. He might even be the 4th linebacker. I don't know where they're at, but like he's the 3rd at best, barring injury. And I think that's better than it was. I think, Casey, you said it best. I think it's better than last year. I think this group is better than last year. Is it top 10? Probably not, but it's better. And like
when your defensive line's top 5 and your cornerback room's top 5, you can have a number 18th linebacker room and not pay the price for it.
Well, and just don't forget about what Nathaniel Watson can do as a blitzer. Like, dude led the SEC in tackles and sacks as a freaking off-ball linebacker. And Mahmoud Diabate, like, the dude can rush the passer too. He is that wild card. But like Nathaniel Watson, I think he's an upgrade over Tony Fields, and I think that's the role he takes. I think he takes Tony Fields' role.
I forgot Watson existed for a second. I'm sorry.
And I don't disagree with what you said. I'm just saying I think it's a little bit better than some people are saying. Yeah. But yeah, maybe it's like 18th, 20th, somewhere in there. It's not phenomenal, but it's better than last year. And when you mix it with what you have elsewhere, I don't see it as a liability. Like, I don't think it's going to be an issue that holds them back because there's talent and role players there.
Let's talk about the leadership real quick. So we know what AWOC was. He was the on-the-field leader. He was more of a glue guy. You know, he's someone who got people lined up, green dot, get the play in, communicate. Do you think that just defaults to Hicks, or do you think they attempt to make JOK the full-time green dot? Because he's the guy that's got to be on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dalvin Tomlinson today spoke after – JOK did speak today at OTAs. Dalvin talked afterwards – and like he was asked immediately, oh, what about JOK? You know, like because JOK had just talked, so they asked him about him. And he talked about the evolution of JOK over last year and into the offseason. He was like, look, this dude's explosive and like he has grown into a great player. Like he's like, this dude's going to put some people on notice this year. Like you are going to see it. And they've seen that carry over. They challenged him last year. Tarver challenged him and said, you got to get bigger. You cannot play at the build and the skill set, like what you are right here physically. You're not going to be able. what's he do? He gets bigger and is just as athletic, just as explosive, just as talented, but more durable. He rose to the challenge, man. Give him the green dot and let's roll.
I got a question. In my estimation, the Browns have 3 defenders who are on the precipice of becoming the guy at their position. You got JOK, you got Martin Emerson, you got Grant Delpit.
Correct.
They all played at a really high level. Delpit got hurt, but they all played at a really high level. All got snubbed, didn't get to the Pro Bowl, no All-Pro nominations. And I think JOK and Emerson were worthy of All-Pro nominations, not just Pro Bowl stuff. If you had to rank those 3, who cracks the top first? Who gets to that upper echelon and gets the credit?
Martin. It's Martin. For me, it's Martin Emerson, JOK, Grant Delpit.
I feel. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna say, if it was me, it's Martin Emerson, JOK, Grant Delpit, and the thing that separates them is health. That's what separates me. I know that the Achilles injury isn't lingering for Grant Delpit or anything, but we've seen multiple stints of extended missed time with injuries for Delpit. JOK's had some issues with some injuries and getting on the field early in his career as he was getting bigger and adding some of that bulk. Martin Emerson's never had that ability, never had that issue, and that separates him from me.
I agree with you that 2 is JOK, but I feel like 1 is Grant Delpit. And I say that because we've seen him lead the Browns in tackles already.
Yeah.
And I felt like before he was injured last year, he was getting sacks. He was breaking up passes. He is like a safety that I have had the displeasure to watch play in Pittsburgh and watch play in Baltimore for the majority of my coming up years. And I saw that dude play in orange and brown, and I didn't know what to do. He just does everything. That they have him blitz sometimes. They have him cover tight ends. He's getting there. He's getting interceptions. He's forcing fumbles. He does a little bit of everything. And I feel like that is so valuable because you're going to ask Juan Thornhill this year to just be your roaming safety. Grant's going to play in that box, and he's already led the Browns in tackles previously. I think Grant could. This is a great question, Casey, but I'm very high on Grant Delpit.
For me, excuse me. Oh my God, I'm about to die, but it's all right. I love all 3 players. All 3 players are like phenomenal Cleveland Browns that we're going to love for years to come. However, I'm going to rank them like this. Like it's Martin Emerson 1 because the guy had this killer attitude since the day he stepped foot on the Browns. He's had very few negative games. I think maybe the playoff game against Houston was one of them, but he's been phenomenal. Everything they've asked him to do, he's done. So physical, so great. I love him. I love the other 2 too, but I'm going to go JOK number 2. Okay. It took him a little. There was maybe a sophomore slump, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm.
But he was phenomenal last year. I love this man. Can't wait to see what he does this year. And then it's so shitty because the safety, he's one of my favorite players too. I love everything. Yeah. When they re-signed him, I was so excited, and I think he was probably the biggest person that got the short end of the stick from having the previous defensive coordinator that kind of
that's probably fair.
He's looked really good since, and I think the upside is totally there. So I think all 3 of these guys are going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal question, Casey, because you just named 3 of our best young players and said rank them. I ranked them, but I love all 3 more than I love my liver right now.
The roster is so stupidly talented. I just think about it sometimes, and it makes me because I can remember for so many years you just asked, "Wow, he did it! He did it!"
So painful.
10 Smirnoff ices. How
in 59 minutes?
For those. Okay, so I'm drinking at a reasonable pace here. I'm through about 2.5 beers in this hour.
That's cute, Nick.
That's cute.
Rookie numbers.
Hey,
you know what?
Sorry, are we done with the football talk?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I bought Mortal Kombat 1.
Hell yeah.
Oh, my God. Just fantastic. Because it resets the series back to 1 because now Liu Kang's the god and Raiden's a human. And, like, Kung Lao's a badass, and Johnny Cage is still there. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are brothers. Yeah. And they got their adopted brother Smoke. And it is, in case you're curious, it is Bihan. Bihan is the original Sub-Zero that Scorpion ripped his spine out in Mortal Kombat 2.
I'm not sure if I just got to the point of drunkenness where I don't know what the fuck's going on, or if I just don't know what you're talking about.
Mortal Kombat. Andy, one last question for you. Are you so this show is very pro The Boys. Are you a The Boys fan?
I love The Boys. Excited for season 4. It comes out in a week?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
The 13th, sir.
13th. All right, cool.
2 days.
We got, and I saw they confirmed season 5 is going to be the end. So we got 2 seasons.
And you know who the newest DLC character on Mortal Kombat is? It's Homelander.
Homelander. See, I know that.
See,
No
there
Homelander.
it is.
But everything you said previous, I'm like, am I tethered to the real world just evaporate? No, I have no idea what people are talking about.
I'm proud of you, Andy.
We have got to get the hell out of
There
here.
are very few people that could accomplish what you did. So I want to say thank you to Andy. I want to say tune the fuck in to Dog Chug tomorrow night at 10 p.m. to see the aftermath of whatever this is.
I mean, look, when I threw it out there, I thought there was like a 10% chance he was going to get one of his 3 picks right. It's a very hard thing to do.
Jacob's good at what he does, man.
So,
Jacob's good at what he does.
like I didn't actually think I was going to have to do this, but I should have said 8. But I know I could do 8. Like 8 wouldn't be that big of a deal. It'd be hard, but it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be sweating doing 8. So I went 10. And I got to be honest, I was sweating like all day today. I was telling Heather, like, I might have problems.
Light work. You made that look easy, champ.
My God.
You did make it
Well,
look easy.
please don't film me after we go dark because
We're not.
very worried where this is going.
We're not those people. Tune in to Dog Jug tomorrow. Thank you to everybody. Our YouTube views have been crazy. We love you. Thank you for being here and for doing that. Click that subscribe button. And, Jeff Bezos, he hands out free Twitch Prime. Please click that button on Twitch. We love you. We're going to Thursday, Dallas Cowboys preview when we kick their ass at home because we won just as many games at home as they did. And they have Dak Prescott. And so, they're going to lose. So sorry about that for them. Anyway, Amari Cooper revenge game. This has been a Cybertruck drinking Browns barking episode. Nick, he's the sideways hat. Jacob, that's backwards hat. Casey, that's
Normal
hat
hat.
by Sandy. Go Browns.
Oh my God. Just off the rails to